Sometimes it is obvious why you can't stop thinking about someone. For example, if you are attracted to someone who you aren't dating, or if you've just started a brand new relationship, it is common to think about them all the time. And if you just broke up with a longtime partner, or just had a falling out with a longtime friend, it makes sense that you would think about them often because you are so used to having them in your life and everything around you reminds you of them. But other times it is not so obvious why someone is always on your mind. So here is what it means when you constantly think about someone and what you can do to stop it. First up is rejection. One of the strongest reasons that you can't stop thinking about someone is when your relationship ends with rejection. Losing someone who you loved is difficult to deal with, and it's even worse when they break it off with you. This can happen in romantic relationships, but also friendships or relationships with family members or coworkers. If you find yourself always thinking about someone who broke up with you, it's because you're still having pain from losing them, and you might also be experiencing a strong desire to have them back in your life. Nostalgia. Another reason you might be constantly thinking about someone is because you just enjoy remembering the good times that you had with them. That person represents a happy time in your life, and when you remember them, you also remember the happy times that you had together. So thinking about them is a way that you can relive some of your past glory and experience the good feelings that you had while being around them. Another reason is if they treated you really badly. If someone did something to hurt you physically or hurt you emotionally or in any way treated you unfairly, it is common for you to think about them. One reason might be because you are simply trying to understand why that person treated you so badly. Another reason you can't stop thinking about them is because you aren't really over it yet and you are still angry with them for whatever they said or did to you. Now we will talk about the best way to stop thinking about someone obsessively at the end of the video, but one way to stop this is to tell the person how you feel the next time that you see them. Or it could be because they treated you really well. On the other hand, another reason you might not be able to stop thinking about someone is because they did something really nice for you or they helped you out in a very significant way. They left a very strong positive emotional mark on you, and remembering what they did for you makes you feel good. Or it could be attachment or codependency. Attachment is a very strong bond that forms after you have been around someone for a long time. This usually means that you have a strong emotional bond with that person, and it can be very hard to break. Codependency is a more negative and toxic form of attachment. It could also mean that you are looking forward to future possibilities. Sometimes you will constantly think about someone because you're looking forward to good things that you could have with that person in the future. This means that you like this person and you want to include them in your happiness in the future. Or that you feel like you owe this person something and you look forward to making it up to them in the future. It could also be from loneliness. When you lose somebody who is a huge part of your life, you might just be thinking about them constantly because you are lonely and you wish you had their companionship again. One way to stop this is to call, text, or get together with friends and family that you currently do have in your life. This will help you forget about what you have lost and help you build new memories with the people who are still around and still love and care about you. It could also be because of attraction or connection. Sometimes we have a naturally strong attraction or connection to someone else. This can be romantic attraction, but it also can be from a strong friendship connection. When you find someone you really connect and click with, it's hard to stop thinking about them. So here is how you can stop thinking about someone. When someone is always on your mind and you haven't even talked with them or communicated with them in any way, it is usually because of repetitive and even obsessive thinking patterns. The more you think the same thoughts about that person in response to external stimuli, the more you reinforce that neuronal pathway in your brain. So, for example, you might think of someone every time that you see a certain movie or hear a certain song. So every time you allow yourself to think of that person, you're just digging that neuronal pathway stronger and stronger into your brain, making it harder and harder to resist thinking about them the next time that you see that movie or you hear that song. So if you want to stop thinking about that person, one way to do it is to force yourself to think new thoughts whenever you are exposed to those triggers. So the next time you hear that song that reminds you of them, instead of allowing yourself to automatically reminisce and ruminate on thoughts about that person, force yourself to have a new thought about something that's in the present. Now this can be really hard to do, especially if you have a lot of emotions attached to that person. But it is possible over time to forge new neuronal pathways in your brain, and every time you force yourself to think about something new, it will be easier to do it again next time you are tempted to think about that person. Now make sure you give yourself time. You have to understand that it might take some time to stop thinking about someone, and that's okay. Don't beat yourself up for thinking about them, and remember that it is natural to think about someone who you have had an emotional connection with, be it positive or negative. And realize that there is such a thing as trying too hard to forget about that person. If you focus too much energy on trying to not think about someone, it's very likely that you will just keep thinking about them more and more. So do your best to train yourself to not think about them, but don't obsess about it. Over time, it should fade. If it does not fade over time, you should definitely seek professional therapy to help you work through this. Remember that it's important to stop and feel it. Instead of trying to distract yourself from this, allow yourself to stop and take time to feel however it is that that person makes you feel. One good way to do this is to get out a pen and paper and write down however it is you are feeling. This is a proven way to help yourself process your feelings and move on. The next step is to release those feelings and forgive that person. You cannot hold on to these strong emotions forever. You really need to let it go. Think about what this situation has taught you in life. What positive things have you learned after going through this experience? Ask yourself, what am I doing to keep myself stuck feeling the way that I feel? This will help you come up with a plan of action for how you can get unstuck and stop thinking about this person. You also really need to get out and exercise. Get out there and socialize. Get online and find a local meetup of people in your area about something that you are interested in. You should also join a gym. This will literally force you to socialize, and on top of that, exercise is a great way to reset yourself mentally and stop thinking about this person. Subscribe for more great psychology videos, and then click here to learn more interesting facts about human behavior, and I will see you in the next video.